All right, let's open up a cold case file that, I gotta tell you, has kept investigators up at night for decades. Some cases just defy all logic, leaving behind these baffling clues that never quite add up. And this is one of them. We're digging into one of the most perplexing disappearances in American history, the Yuba County Five.
And this quote, wow, it really hits home. Mabel Madruga, Jack's mom, she said it best. From the very beginning, the families knew. They felt it, Something just wasn't right. This wasn't just five guys getting lost in the woods. This was something else. Something made them go up there.
So, to really get what happened, we need to know who these men were. Before they became this huge national mystery, they were just the boys to everyone in Yuba County. A really tight-knit group of friends who basically loved two things: each other and basketball.
So you've got Gary, Jack, Jackie, Ted, and Bill. Now, all of them had mild developmental disabilities or some psychiatric conditions, and they were absolutely inseparable. They even had their own basketball team, the Gateway Gators. They lived at home with their families, had their routines, really structured lives.
Let's set the scene. It's Friday, February 24th, 1978, a totally normal night. The guys pile into Jack Madruga's cool Mercury Montego and drive about 50 miles up to Chico to watch a college game. And they were pumped. The very next day was their own big game, a Special Olympics tournament. A win would send them to Los Angeles for a week. So after the game, they stop at a market, grab some snacks, and the last time anyone saw them, they were headed south, the right way home. Everything seemed completely normal. But then, the next morning comes, and they're not home. This is where the first red flags go up. Big time. This was so out of character. We're talking about the biggest game of their lives that day. Their uniforms were literally laid out, ready to go. Their families knew right away this wasn't them just pulling an all-nighter. Something was seriously wrong.
A few days go by, and then they find the car. And this is the moment the whole case just flips on its head. It goes from a standard missing persons report to something deeply weird. Because where they found that car made zero sense.
Get this, 70 miles. The car was found 70 miles from Chico, but not south towards home. No, it was way off course in the total opposite direction. High up in the mountains on this remote, winding dirt road in the Plumas National Forest. What were they doing up there? At night? In the middle of winter? It's just bizarre.
So from a forensic point of view, the scene at the car is a total puzzle. Nothing adds up. Okay, so it's stuck in a bit of snow, but it's not deep. 5 healthy guys could have pushed it out, no problem. The doors are unlocked, a window's even cracked open, and the keys, gone. But here's the kicker. The cops hotwire it, and it starts right up. It's got a quarter tank of gas. So you have to ask yourself, right? Why on earth would you abandon a perfectly good car?
And just when you think it can't get any stranger, it does. Turns out there was a witness. Well, sort of. A guy named Joseph Schranz was also up on that same deserted road that night. His own car got stuck. And to make things worse, he was having a heart attack. What he saw, or what he thought he saw, is one of the weirdest parts of this entire case.
So Shones tells the police this story. He sees headlights coming up behind his car. He gets out, hoping for help, and sees a group of people. And get this, he thought one of them was a woman holding a baby. So he yells out to them, "Help, I need help." And bam, instant silence. The headlights just click off. A little while later, he sees flashlights bobbing around in the dark. He yells again, and again, poof, they're gone. Now, was that the Yuba County Five? And if it was, who was with them? And why would they just ignore a man who was clearly in distress?
So they find the car, and then nothing. A massive blizzard just buries the mountains, and the search gets called off. For 3 long months, the case goes completely cold. Just silence and snow. Then June rolls around. The snow starts to melt, and what the winter was hiding, it's absolutely horrific.
19.4 miles. Let that sink in for a second. Nearly 20 miles. That's the distance they walked from their car to where the first body was found. Through deep snow, mind you, uphill, in the middle of winter, wearing nothing but light jackets and regular shoes. It's almost impossible to imagine.
On June 4th, the silence breaks. A bunch of motorcyclists are out for a ride, and they come across this isolated Forest Service trailer. They look inside, and there, on a bed, wrapped in sheets, is the body of Ted Weir. Suddenly, the search is back on in a huge way.
The autopsy on Ted Weir tells a story. and it's a chilling one. Based on his beard growth and the fact that he'd lost nearly 100 pounds, the coroner figured he'd been alive in that trailer for, get this, 8 to 13 weeks, almost 3 months. He died from starvation and hypothermia. But there were 2 really strange clues. One, he was wrapped up in 8 different sheets, really tightly, almost like someone else had done it. And 2, his shoes were gone.
Over the next few days, the search teams found the others. The remains of Jack Madruga, Bill Sterling, and Jackie Hewitt were discovered scattered in the woods, basically on the trail between the car and that trailer. Unfortunately, because of the time that had passed and, well, animal activity, the coroner couldn't say for sure how they died.
Okay, so this next part, this is the real heart of the mystery. This is the thing that has driven investigators crazy for more than 40 years. It's not just about what happened inside that trailer, it's about what didn't happen.
I want you to really picture this. Right outside the trailer, in a shed, there was a locker packed with military sea rations. We're talking a year's worth of food. A year! And they barely touched it. The trailer had matches, books, furniture, plenty to start a fire to stay warm. But no fire was ever lit. There was a huge propane tank hooked up to the trailer for heat. All they had to do was turn a valve. They never did. So you have to ask, why? Why would you freeze and starve to death when food, heat, and shelter are right there, literally at your fingertips?
So, 4 of the 5 men are found. But this case is nowhere near closed. Because the biggest questions of all revolve around the one man they never found.
Gary Mathias. He was an Army vet, and he'd been diagnosed with schizophrenia. Now, his family said he was doing really well on his medication at the time, but as an investigator, you have to wonder, what would a terrifying, confusing situation like this do to someone's mental state? He's the one piece of the puzzle that's still completely missing. His body was never, ever found.
But there's one last crucial piece of forensic evidence found at the scene. Inside that trailer, they found Gary Mathias' sneakers. Now, think back. Who was missing his shoes? Ted Weher. So the working theory is this. Mathias' feet were probably horribly frostbitten and swollen, so he took Weher's bigger, sturdier leather shoes. It's the strongest piece of evidence we have that Mathias was in that trailer and that he walked away from it.
Walked away to where, though? That's the million-dollar question. He just vanished. Did he finally collapse somewhere out there in the woods? Or, and this is a long shot, did he somehow make it out of the mountains and just start over? We just don't know. The fate of Gary Mathias is the final, haunting question mark on this whole case.
When you close the file on this one, you're left with just a stack of questions. Why drive up that mountain road in the first place? Why leave a car that worked? Who in the world did that witness, Joseph Shawns, actually see? And the big one, why ignore the supplies that could have saved their lives? It all comes back to what Jack's mother said at the very beginning. What force made them go up there? The file on the Yuba County 5 remains open, a chilling reminder that sometimes the truth stays buried in the snow.